Welcome back to my channel for those who are returning, and for those who are new, welcome to my channel. I'll just say I am Radical Steve, and in this video I'm going to keep it short, but I wanted to talk about Half-Life 3, also known to be HLX, or at least that's what everybody assumes, because if you haven't heard, there has been some data mining leaks about HLX being Half-Life 3, which makes sense because if you know anything about, again, spoiler, let me just make this clear, there are some spoilers in this video about the Half-Life games, including Half-Life Alyx. If you don't know anything about Half-Life 2 Episode 2, then, well, you should, but Eli Vance gets killed by an advisor. The game ends there. In Half-Life Alyx, which is a prequel set 5 years before the events of Half-Life 2, except for the very end, where when Alex Vance saves who she thinks is Gordon Freeman, but turns out to be the G-Man who put himself there intentionally just to test Alex Vance. Once Alex Vance frees the G-Man gives Alex Vance a opportunity to save her father. She gets to see what happens in the future, and she realizes that her father gets killed by an advisor, so G-Man gives her power to nudge to kill the advisor, saving Eli Vance's life. And then of course she forgets about the whole thing and gets taken away and put into G-Man's stasis, which I think is safe to say that it is implying that in the next installment, assuming it is a Half-Life, like a full Half-Life game and not a spin-off, you'll be playing as Gordon Freeman trying to save Alex Vance. Because in the post-credits scene of Half-Life Alyx, you are Gordon Freeman for a few seconds, and Eli Vance gives you a crowbar and it ends there. There's also been other theories about a rocket being launched coincidentally at the same time as the Game Awards, things like that. People have been called schizophrenic. That, I think, is probably just a coincidence. The rocket's some kind of Japanese thing, but it was called it is called Raise and Shine. And it's on the 11th or 12th, depending on your time zone, of course. But it is a funny coincidence. There's also been a Miro board, or whatever you'd call it, that people have done some digging in the game files, whether it was Deadlock or other kind of updates for Counter-Strike or Deadlock, and they found icons, things like that, asset dumps, space flight, nav space, navigation, AI enhanced and updated navigation. NPCs can also navigate moving platforms, things like that. Mood system, destructible NPCs, player companions have certain abilities. Companions can be incapacitated but also revived from the player, which is interesting. Sound types, known NPCs, Hound Eye, Zen Gorilla, Zen Jellyfish, Zen Swooper, and then you have the Combine Charger, Feral Man, Hack, Snipers, other Combine behavior, Off-World, Penitank, Fly Guy, Koosh Child, all this stuff. Antlions are returning. Some of this is all speculation, and nobody's entirely 100% sure about any of it, but it's safe to say that at least half of what you're seeing here will be present in Half-Life 3. Minor spoiler warning. Potential locations, Zen, Off-World, Foundry. It does make sense why we would return to Zen. I think that will happen, because in Half-Life Alyx, when you're talking to the G-Man, you kind of see the new canonical appearance of Zen and all these Zen assets, and I don't know why they just show you Zen for no reason whatsoever, just for a few minutes, just for nothing. I mean, I think it's obvious that we will be returning to Zen, and this off-world thing is, it's kind of neat because you're going to possibly the Combine Off-World Day, send you when you fail your mission, things like that. And more proof of Half-Life Alyx, and more proof of Half-Life 3 was this tweet from Mike Shapiro. And if you know anything about Mike Shapiro, he doesn't tweet very often unless it's to advertise his music or some kind of ASMR thing or a game, which one of his earliest tweets was about Half-Life Alyx. Right here, this was back in November 21st, 2019. So his most recent tweet was December 31st of 2024. It says Valve Half-Life G-Man 2025.
Another year already. Good to see and hear from so many of you. May the next quarter century deliver as many unexpected surprises as did the millennium's first. And again, time is fluid, like music. See you in the new year.
So that there is the clip that everybody was talking about. Now, I think it's safe to say that if we do not see anything by the Game Awards, which, as I am recording this, it is only 2 days away. If we do not see anything by the 12th at least, then it's safe to say we're not seeing anything until next year, basically, because the winter vacation is coming by the 13th, I suppose. I don't know. We'll see, though. Hopefully we'll see something at the Game Awards, but there's been no teaser, no nothing. All we have to really go off of there being potential teaser or trailer was Mike Shapiro's tweet saying about 2025. Now, to get into what I really wanted to talk about for this video was Half-Life 3's, because again, I think it's safe to say that it is coming out when? Well, most likely by the March 20th or 26th or whenever the Steam machine's coming out. I think that's probably when they're going to do it because Half-Life was always an innovative game. Half-Life Alyx came with hardware, Half-Life 2 sort of innovated its physics and things like that, and graphics even. Each game had something to offer. Now, for Half-Life 3's Hammer Editor and its Source 2 engine, what I hope to see is the return of Half-Life 2's weapons and enemies. Now, ideally, you would also get Half-Life 1's, but, you know, that's never going to happen. The closest we're going to get to Half-Life 1 is, well, the Hound Eyes and most likely the Bull Squid. And the rest are just going to be new enemies that you'll encounter in Zen, basically, is how I see it. I don't see them bringing back alien grunts and those big-headed, Vortigaunt-looking creatures. What I do hope to see is if we do not get Metro Police in Half-Life 3, I at least hope they are in the game files or in the Hammer Editor for us to use. Same thing with Half-Life Alyx. I hope we get all of the enemies from Half-Life Alyx in Half-Life 3. And if not in the main story, because if it's in the main story, obviously it will be included with the Hammer Editor, but if it's not, if, you know, like Combine Grunts or Combine Suppressors or even Ordinals are not in the story, I hope they are in the editor. I hope they're a part of the modding tools in the Hammer Editor. I think it's a pretty simple ask. You know, quite literally all I am asking for is to get the return of the Half-Life 2 enemies, weapons, and Half-Life Alyx's enemies. Which I know we'll see the return of most of them, like the armored headcrab zombies and those reviving electric kind of weird creatures. And I'm sure, and it is confirmed, or at least as far as I'm aware of, according to the Miro board, that we will be seeing the return of Combine Chargers, which if we're seeing the Chargers, we're probably also seeing Suppressors too. But what if we do not see Grunts or Metro Police? well, I hope we'll be able to see them in the Hammer editor. That's basically all I'm trying to say. If we do not see some of the enemies and weapons in the main game, I hope to see them in the Hammer editor. I think that's the least they could do, especially to compensate for such a long wait, because it would be a big slap in the face not to be able to have a bunch of Metro Police trying to shoot at you while you're making your own mod. I think that would be really cool. I think it would be a missed opportunity not to include those basic, simple units, enemies, whatever. Again, let me sum it up. All I am really asking for in regards of modding for Half-Life 3 is to see the return of the weapons and enemies from Half-Life 2 and Half-Life Alyx, even if they aren't present in the main story. At least make it accessible for those who want to use it for their mods, even if it's not in the main story. Because it wouldn't make much sense not to include them, especially when you put all that work in. That's it. No, I just want to see the return of those things. And it would be cool to see the return of all the Half-Life 1 enemies and weapons in Source 2. But you know that's not going to happen. But we'll see when Half-Life 3 comes out. But yeah, stay hopeful. Don't take your Desperium. Take the Hopium. Alright? I'll see you in the Game Awards. Peace.
Boring!